We got men that want women to submit, and they don't have a vision. So where we going? Why should she submit to you when you don't even know, when you don't even have an idea where you're going?
Right.
You know, and guys like, well, she don't submit. She need to submit. Submittance doesn't mean slavery. And she doing whatever, coming to America, bark like a dog. That's not. The funny thing about submitting is, in order for a woman to submit, a man has to submit to God.
Right.
A woman can't fight that, right? I don't care where she's from and da da da. If you loving on her, she can't it don't make sense, right? Somebody's like, you this, and you like, hey man, I think you're an amazing person. They're like, what? It causes you to stop,
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be consistently who we are supposed to be, because we've gone years we have taught women to become what they are. It's gonna take time to turn that, right? It's gonna take time. It's gonna take effort. It's gonna take podcasts like this, responsible manhood. Those are two. I mean, that phrase is powerful, because there's also manhood. There's also irresponsible manhood, right? Like you have to decide, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy, you know.
Hey man, that's great, man. What do you think in all of this, and where you are now, being 36? What's the most responsible thing you've grasped as a man at this point in your life?
Most responsible thing that I've grasped.
And it could be a decision that you've made, the way you operate, life lesson.
I think for me, it's kind of, I have mantras, right? And this mantra reminds me of the intensity of my responsibility. Every day, every interaction, legacy is the most important thing for me. Most people think about legacy when they're older and, they know time is coming for them to pass on, right? I've become infatuated with legacy, because legacy, in 30 seconds, you leave a legacy with somebody. 30 seconds, a smile, or a kind word, or an unkind word, that leaves an imprint on that person. That could ruin their whole day. And so I try to utilize every interaction with a mentality of service. How can I serve this person? How can I help this person be their best self, right? Legacy is everything for me. And in the end, it's like, people always say, what will they say about you when you're gone, right? I say, what will they say about you while you're living? Can people say, man, Mike is a caring dude, he's giving, he's a loving dude, he's funny, he's this, he's responsible, right? Or is it like, man, that dude's shady, man? That's your legacy. And real quick, I had a situation happen at work. I wanted to do a rotation because I've kind of plateaued where I am. Now I want to do a rotation into something different. And I went through this whole process, talking to the people and and they were bringing me on. Well, somebody took it upon themselves to intervene in that process. They had nothing to do with it. And, they said some stuff about me that wasn't true. And so the person who was going to bring me into their group so I could learn and try something new, they were like, hey, I want nothing to do with you, right? I'm done. Opportunity closed. Of course, I followed up, handled that. And I realized something. We all have a reputation in different areas. I have a bad reputation with some people, and probably rightfully so. Didn't make the best choices, made some selfish choices, whether I was frustrated or whatever, right? The interesting thing about reputation is you don't create it. Other people create it for you. So what's your reputation? Right? What is your reputation? How are you living? And for me, that's kind of been the most, I guess, definitive, important thing. Like, what is my legacy while I'm living? When I'm gone, that's it. If I'm constantly evaluating how I'm living my life, I can make changes, right? I can make choices. I'm in a season right now where I'm dropping weight. Not physically. There are some things, some people, some thought processes, some ideas that are heavy. They're encumbering. They're holding me back. You got to go. I had a conversation the other day with, somebody. You know what I mean? You got to go. Still love you. Hey, how you doing? But there's no constant communication. Because some things just hold us back. They're not healthy for us.
Right.
They're not bad things, but they're not pushing me towards purpose. A man, everybody has a purpose. God has put a purpose in us, right? But a man, our purpose is we have to handle that with such grace and such intentionality because we're going to lead a family.
Stop you right there. I think all of that is very unique, and because you created this book. I think and I think that's the reason why you're at a point where you are now, where you can share this with people, because you have a lot of thought behind it, and I think it shows throughout this interview. How can people learn more about you and get this book?
Okay, so despite the anti-lock brakes that were just applied to my rant, because my brain, I got motivated, man. You know how I get.
It's all good.
So I have a website, jamalbazil.com. There's everything on there. You can purchase the book on there, but there's also a story. So the website is broken up in parts. So Engineered Muse, there's a story behind that. Most people think of an engineer as, rigid or uncompromising, socially inept. But that's not true at all, right? Most people think engineers aren't writers.
Or artists.
Or artists. Clearly, that's not true, right? We are what we choose to become, right? That's the creative power, the godness in us, right? Made in God's image. And so, jamalbazil.com, and I'm going to spell it slow because for some reason people mess my name up. JAHMALBAZIL. And you can purchase the book, like I said, but there's segments, there's pieces that you can read to kind of understand my voice. Like you mentioned, very poetic. I've always been accused of being a deep thinker because life is deep, relationships are deep. Just if you consider the human body, it's deep that you don't have to think to breathe, or your heart is beating right now without you thinking about it. To me, that's fascinating. Creation is crazy. It's beautiful. It's so complex. The sea doesn't just overflow the bounds and just flood everything, right?
Right.
That's crazy to me. That's engineered. It's on purpose. And so the website is up there. I'm also on Facebook under Engineered Muse. I am also on Instagram. I'm gonna be real with y'all though. I hate social media, but it is a tool to be used. I try to be more vigilant with using it. So social media, I'm also under Engineered Muse, or you can search Jamal Bazil, and I will pop up.
Dope, man. You will be speaking in Atlanta coming up, so that's dope. You have an opportunity to spread more about your book, man. But
Yeah.
thank you for coming on the podcast today. I
Yes,
think
sir.
that was dope. I think the people can definitely learn something from you today. And I appreciate you, bro, for being
Always,
responsible, man.
always,
Thank you.
always. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you.
All right. Well, that concludes this episode of Becoming a Man. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.